we're talking about objectivism and stuff, but it's not important though. I was looking for the videos, and part of the reason why these people like sort of like the doctor who runs the it's like an integrated medicine thing. It's so funny that a lot of these people like they don't realize that the psychoanalysis movement is a political movement, and what a political movement is because they're not objectivists. That it is that I mean that they are psychoanalysts. Like it's just that they don't. He said, well, I'm not a psychiatrist, right? I said, I know that, and he's not a psychologist either. He's not. I mean, he's this integrative medicine guy. But I mean, all of them are psychoanalysts. I mean, they are. It's sort of a mode of like thought about things, like or a mode of talking to people, a mode of seeing things. Like they are it because it's a political movement. I mean, so anyway, but he's not. He doesn't think he's. He went out of his way a bunch of times to make sure, like I remembered that. But it's not that. It's that he is though. I mean, it's sort of a way. You can't help it. The fact that like part of what he practices is that he's like I don't know he was an emergency room surgeon, but then he's a sort of neurology guy, but some degree in psychology or something. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what kind of background of someone like has who starts an integrated medicine thing that could like deal with a person like me. But part of it is that he's clearly in the psychoanalysis movement. They all are. They have sort of a nurse who like I believe them. It's not like I think it's a joke. I mean, I think that they do perceive they're mainly about neurological things, or maybe that's a game. Like, who the fuck knows what people like this? I mean, but the point is, it doesn't matter. The point is, like, they're in the psychoanalysis movement. I mean, for all I see, we know this chain of like how expensive all this is. $500. See, they don't really live in objective reality. Partly, they don't know about economics. I mean, of the $500 an hour, like Oprah Winfrey psychiatrist, and the $350,000 for that fucking Austin Riggs kite cult, and now the money for this. I mean, at that level, I'm sure they're working together. That's called paranoid. Like they're in some sense. I mean, that's like a top. All this is the top level of the psychoanalysis movement. That is like they want me to know they're not I know they're not psychiatrists, but then again, what's a psychiatrist? It's a person with a medical. I mean, they call themselves integrated medicine people, and they are. I mean, they talk about vitamins and stuff, but I mean, they're not, I mean, they're in the psychoanalysis movement, but that's okay. But I mean, they don't really know what a political movement is. They don't know they're in one, and that's part of what makes it so sick. But the thing is, like, you think about, but they're talking to an objectivist, and the thing is, like, right, like. Part of this thing is though, like when they know the part. See, what do I work on in Arizona, where like people live in objective reality? Like they're grieving. I grieve the loss of a guy called Steve Cooper. There used to be a guy called Steve Cooper. Part of what no one understands in your like game, but that they also don't understand this place. And no one could understand. They just don't understand because part of it is why I talk about National Socialism. Why I consider myself sort of a National Socialist is there really aren't National Socialists. You don't claim the title; it's pointless. What would I be referring to? There are no National Socialists. But I mean, because I believe what they say in the speeches that we were responsible for our effect on other people. It was what happened is, yeah, I had a high IQ. I had a high IQ. I was a great boxer. You know, I was a great boxer. I was a straight A student in English. I was a great creative writer. My friend Andrew was a good Catholic. He always said, "You're the best creative writer I ever knew." That story you wrote. But I don't know. My family, and they got involved with these psychophilics who shocked their daughter's brain out, and they had like a fantasy, like their dad got a hard on for the idea that have a son who was a professor, and they were gonna have me institutionalized, like unless I could do a game on them where I just started repeating things Noam Chomsky said, so that like I could make a pretend he was my father was trying to he did what they told him in the psychoanalysis movement, like made him think that he could like trick me about objective reality. Like if I had thought he was ashamed, he didn't have an education, so he started putting on an English accent, and like they told him that like they told him a bunch of sick things. My father started doing sick things to me psychologically, like sick games on me. They start playing games on me. Like your games, that's okay. You're allowed to play games. Like, get your money up, kid. We're in a game, but not your own father. But that's what these people did to him, and I didn't know what to do. So I did a game where I pretended to be like a person who knew about politics, and I actually had to get myself into a fucking this fucking new school. So it's a school for Marxist theory. But I had to go. I mean, there was nothing else to do. They would put me in a mental institution. They were trying to do what are called schizoid inducing behaviors. Who do you think you are today and everything? They heard of, but that has nothing to do with schizophrenia. Has nothing to do with playing roles. So yeah, it's the girl who their father raped her or something. I don't know. Fish box or some sick fucks, atheist kikes who were like think they saved the world or something. So like I had to play a game, and I ended up like a guy with a high IQ and a great boxer and a great creative writer, and like wanted to like go to school and like keep studying that stuff. And I did think it would be cool to study political economy, but I thought it was a technical subject. Because my father started a corporation, I didn't know it was like all this fag, like critical theory shit and stuff that doesn't make any sense. And I started having kind of a breakdown from that, and then the professor fucked with me, and they put me in that kite cult, and I was interrogated by this cunt called Weinberg. And then I did that satiric Facebook page with that. They had me jacked up on pills when I was doing that page, being interrogated by this kite called Weinberg and harassed by like psychos in there. And then what it created is whoever's talking now, and I hope this is for history. And the main thing is there can never again be such individuals. There was a person called Stephen Cooper, and as far as like who the person is talking, like we'll have a bunch of different roles and head filled with incredible amount of information that's really not my own. And I would learn to talk real fast to keep the psychiatrists and the kikes in this cult. I was interrogated for a year. They sort of knew you do a game down here. They wrecked a person's life, but they didn't take my soul. Because, it's called being born again. It's for stupid people. There can never again be such individuals. But you don't really know who Steve Cooper was. He was a great guy. You just don't know him. You'll never know. He's gone. You got like all these crazy roles in a camera. Turns out it has something to do for history. There can never again be people like this. It's someone who is calling themselves a Jew, who electroshock their daughter's brains out, who don't believe in God, who live in an unintegrated reality. My belief is that it has nothing to do with the empire of Khazaria or like UFOs or things. Listen to me very carefully. It has something to do with the pollution of the planet. That somehow in a very recent period over the last 100 years, some kind of new type of individual has come up that is in some sense sick, but it is sick in like some kind of biological sense. It doesn't matter what the history of the Jews are. The history of the Jews involve people like me. Empire of Khazaria, like guys are high IQs live in the mountains and stuff, Yeah, they founded their own religion and they want to take over the world, so did everyone else. But no. This is not that. These are people of limited intelligence. They're incredibly sick. And I believe that it is a genetic type of person. I believe a lot of what Hitler was doing, he didn't think he could have a final solution to get rid of all the Jews in the world. Do you know how irrational? I mean, they were, one thing about the Nazis is they're incredibly rational. Matter of fact, when someone's being very rational or something, Syria, not rationalists. No, they were very logical and very rational. That's how they came to the determination, like, that they could do this, but that they didn't, no logical person of the best intellectuals were in the Nazi regime and stuff. No, they didn't think that they could, like, that would be like saying, we're going to get rid of all the Arabs or something. I mean, it doesn't make logical sense, as Pierce would say. Like, no. They wanted to do something that would, like, set an example of what to do with a certain kind of person. That it must be this person popped up in this century, probably something to do with the industrial pollution of the country, of the globe. Right? We're part of the planetary system. So therefore, like, there might be a type of individual who has, like, appeared at this time, and, like, we need to get rid of them. It's a matter of destroying. That's why it's great that it's the age of biology, because we can find out. My guess is it is a biological, like, some kind of thing that's, like, popped up at this time. It's not like a human being, but it's sort of like a human being, and that there can never again be such individuals. But I'm saying, like, no, you don't know Steve Cooper. And it's not that I'm so smart. I'm crazy. These people are pretending they're not in the psychoanalysis movement. They think they might be dealing with a psycho. They're not telling me that I'm playing a big role in what we're doing, that people in the media signal to me down here. They don't live in objective reality, but, they're not necessarily the people I'm worried about. It's just like they don't know who the fuck they're talking to. They've probably seen a lot of the videos. They're not sure what kind of person this is. The answer is it's not a real person you're listening to. It's sort of like a cartoon. I'm doing this for history because it'll have an impact on understanding that there can never again be such individuals. They destroyed a person, but I found a Christ-conscious experience, and when I say it was born again, they say it's not I, but Christ through me who lives. Hello. This guy thinks he's Jesus. That's what these sick bastards would say. They're like, they're sick, though. They're sick. Right. It's not I, but Christ through me who lives. Like, it's not a real person you're listening to. Steve Cooper died a long time ago, okay? But I'm here to tell you, you're talking about a ghost. Schizos think they're ghosts, or Christ, or whatever the fuck, like R.D. Lang and all the other, like, they tried to break some ground with these kikes and their crazy theories by at least writing a little bit about, like, reality, kind of what was going on, but you can't break into what they've done. It's like Chauncey says that what they've done is like the medieval church. It's so complicated. That's why Francis Parker said, first of all, it's unnecessary and pointless to attempt to refute what they're saying at any given time. Let them talk themselves into oblivion. Like we'll be hearing something like garden of pure ideology. What's that ideology? That there's only one reality. And there can never again be individuals like this, but they control all the institutions. And by the way, they did take over the institutions a century ago, but that's the same thing like people would hope to do in any century. And they were like, leading, like progressive. I mean, I don't know that they were those were like sort of radicals, and there should be institutional change every like 100 years. And those really were people in like the early psychoanalysis movement. No, 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 no. But at this point, whoever controls all the institutions and is in the institutions and learning in them, you should see what passing for a student. They're such sick, dumb people. I mean, it's incredible, but they're all Jews. They're all calling themselves Jews, and they're sick, and they're whatever it is. It's not exactly a human being, but it's like sort of like evolving or something. It's someone where there can never gonna be people like that, but it's not Jews. It's like this guy in the other room's a Jew. He's a nice guy. I mean, he's a guy like me. He's a punk rock. I mean, intelligent guy. And it's not who I'm talking about. But who's in the social science institutions and who's in the universities and who's like becoming an academic. And so it's a very specific type of person. They certainly aren't in business. They couldn't be. They're sick. They're not in business. And by the way, it's interesting. Of all the people called Jews, and certainly the central banks aren't your problems. The banks, they can't do anything about this. When the universities and institutions and the people that educate people are this sick breed of people, I mean, the banks don't know what to do. Like Brooks put that article in as like bait for guys like me. He knows full well he's an economist. You couldn't actually be in like they run the central banks and stuff. It's just nothing they could do. The way people are being educated, the bank just does what it's in the warm spot. I mean, just does the best it can do to like put a little more money in. Put a just control it. It's this but the way people are educated by these people, I mean, they would think that that's where the problem's coming from. There can't ever again be people like this.